Thank you very much, Speaker. My question is to the Minister for Education. It was reported today that the Australian Tertiary Education Commission won't advise on the reasonable cost of degrees until mid-2027 at the earliest, which means that the Job Ready Graduate Scheme will continue at least until 2028. 285,000 students will next year pay more than $54,000 for arts, law and commerce degrees, $90,000 for double degrees. How can you justify this when you've acknowledged on many occasions that job-ready graduates isn't working?
Give a call to the Minister for Education.
Thank you, Mr Speaker, and can I thank the member for Kooyong for her question and for her passion in this area of higher education. Like me, like I think all members of parliament, you understand the power of education to change lives. And the truth is that we've got a good education system in Australia, but it can be better and it can be fairer, and that's what the reforms that we're implementing across early education, across school education and across higher education are all about. And particularly in higher education, we're driven by the recommendations of the Universities Accord. We've now implemented 36 of the 47 recommendations in the Accord in full or in part, and we'll continue to work through that report. And as you rightly point out, that makes recommendations about the Job Ready Graduate Scheme. I have said it's failed. I've said work on fixing it is unfinished business, and I have said, and you will know, that the Australian Tertiary Education Commission has also pointed out the work they're doing on the cost of teaching and learning that they will finalise next year. Now, they are the facts. What is also a fact is that no government has done more to cut student debt than this government and this Prime Minister. We have cut student debt by 20% for 3 million Australians, and by doing that taken $16 billion off the backs of young Australians. Something, by the way, that the Liberal Party described as profoundly unfair. Well, you said it was vote buying, did you? Yeah, they still don't get it. They still don't get it, but it sort of explains why they are over there and we're over here. The other point I'd make, is it's not the only thing we are doing to make our education system better and fairer, because there's also legislation in the parliament at the moment to invest an extra $3.5 billion into our system to help more kids get a crack at going to university, and in particular help more kids from poor families and from the bush and from the regions to get a crack at going to university, something that the Liberal Party has just said they think is quote-unquote socialism. Well, I actually think it's fairness.
Order.
And I hope that my friends in the National Party, whose kids in their communities will agree, and do what they always do when they think the Liberal Party gets it wrong, and that is roll them and vote for legislation that will help kids from the bush.
Dr. Monique Ryan pinning the Education Minister down on one of the biggest rorts in higher education, the Job Ready Graduate Scheme, cooked up by the previous coalition government to push kids into STEM, has been a spectacular flop. Arts, law and commerce degrees now cost students over $54,000, double degrees pushing $90,000. And guess what? The government that loves to call it a failure is quite happy to let it keep running until at least 2028. Jason Clare stands up and does the classic political two-step. Yes, it's failed. Yes, it's unfinished business. But look over here. We cut student debt by 20%, $16 billion off the books. Fair enough, that relief helps a lot of young Aussies staring down HECS debts. But it doesn't fix the core problem. Young people from ordinary families are still getting slugged with sky-high fees for perfectly legitimate degrees, while the government kicks the can down the road to mid-2027 for proper cost advice. Clare talks about fairness and opening doors, especially for kids from the bush and poor families. Yet here we are, years into Labour's term, with the same broken price signals still punishing non-STEM students. The Universities Accord has delivered some wins, sure, but on this one, they're dragging their feet. Meanwhile, the opposition gets painted as heartless for questioning the spending. Classic. Taxpayers and students deserve better than performative fairness. They need actual fixes, not more delays and debt band-aids. This is exactly why voters are sick of the spin. Good intentions aren't enough when the policy reality keeps hitting families in the wallet.